There's a new push at the State House to allow Massachusetts driver's licenses for unauthorized immigrants. To bring us up to date about the campaign is our guest from the Massachusetts Immigrant and Refugee Advocacy Coalition, the MIRA Coalition. We'd like to welcome the Acting Director of Organizing, Kevin Ferreira. Thank you very much for being with us, Kevin.
Thank you for having me.
Kevin, explain, if this were to pass, what exactly would it do?
So the Safe Driving Bill would create safer roads for everyone by removing immigration status as a barrier to get a license, to be trained, licensed, and insured as a driver.
And some people right now saying, well, how is that this would make the roads safer? Because yes, some of these immigrants who don't have licenses, they're driving right now. Right. So how does this make things better?
Well, so as you know, folks are coming from a different country, and imagine you're driving down the road and you get into an accident with anyone. First, if that person isn't insured, then the cost and the burden goes on you. And we know that we don't want that for anyone. So first of all, this allows more of those folks who are driving to be insured. And the second piece is it allows them to know the rules of the road. And coming from a different country, often folks know how to drive, but what are the different rules that are local to here, the US and in Massachusetts, and making it that much safer so that they're tested, they know the same rules as everyone else, and they're driving even safer for everyone.
What about why this matters to the immigrants themselves?
It matters for a lot of reasons. First, a lot of immigrants have families here, so getting their children to school, getting their children to the doctor, going to doctor's appointments, those everyday needs. If you think about if you live outside of Boston or you live outside of a big city, how do you get around to do those daily functions that you need to go grocery shopping, the doctor's office, to school, to get to work? And all of those things need licenses, especially if you're outside of this area. And the Safe Driving Bill allows families to have that access, and with that access comes more opportunities also for the local economy. If they can go to a supermarket a little bit farther away or to the dentist office a little bit farther away, well then they're spending money in more places and have more access, which is overall better for our community as well.
Now, I know this is less common, but it's certainly worth talking about. There are cases when having the right to drive can make a big difference to, let's say if you're concerned about domestic violence maybe.
Yeah, so often individuals who are in a partnership with someone going through domestic violence are looking for ways, we work with them on an escape plan. They're looking for ways that they can leave that situation. If you don't have a car, to escape that situation on a moment's notice is that much more difficult. So a driver's license can make the difference for that person who's a survivor of domestic violence to leave that violent situation and go to safety.
Now, I've heard a lot of arguments about this from the other side. I mean, one of them is, well, what about 9/11? Didn't somebody get a driver's license and that somehow facilitated an act of terrorism?
So I think we have to recognize that an undocumented person can get on a plane with their passport as it is. So they can use their foreign passport, be it from Ireland or Mexico, and get on a plane and travel inside the United States, or if they so choose, leave the United States. And so a driver's license doesn't change their ability to board a plane.
What about other states that have laws that do allow licenses for unauthorized immigrants?
So there's 12 states who have passed similar laws, as well as Puerto Rico and DC. And what we've seen is a drop in the rate of uninsured drivers. We've seen increases in road safety. And I think most recently in California, there's a 30% increase in organ donors, which is just incredible as well. It's the biggest spike they've seen in a long time.
What about the resistance at the State House? Because if it isn't concern about terrorism, and what is it? Is it people who just don't want to make it any easier for unauthorized immigrants to support a life in this state, maybe?
I think folks don't realize that there are immigrants around us who are part of our daily lives. We're interacting with them on the street. Maybe they're taking care of our parents. They're taking care of our children. And so they don't realize the necessity that these families have, that immigrants around them have to get driver's licenses. And rather, they say, well, these families need to be deported, that we just need to deport everyone who's undocumented. First of all, that's an incredible burden on the state. The country cannot afford to begin deporting everyone. And second, that rips apart families. Can you imagine there's a lot of families where one parent may be undocumented, they have a child who's born here in the United States, a citizen child, taking that mother away from their child. So you begin tearing apart at the fabric of families, and that tears apart at the fabric of our communities. And I think they haven't fully realized the way that might affect the places they're living.
Because the other thing about a license, in a way, is that I know it's not the same as having legalized status in the country, but in a way, you are more on the radar screen.
Well, we think that just makes it safer for folks. When we've heard from countless police officers, well, when I stop someone, I want to see a form of ID. For someone who's undocumented, that just allows them to be that much safer. They know who this person is. They can see a record, whether they're authorized to be here or not. And then the other piece is it allows them to just feel a little bit safer and interact in the communities in a better way. I've already talked about the economic benefits, but the other piece is that their stress levels go down. They're able to provide for their family, their citizen children's in a better way, and able to access, and that also benefits us all.
Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you.
From the MIRA Coalition, Kevin Ferreira.